Welcome to the Robin's Nest with glass artist Robin Hoerth. I'm Liv Wessel, and today we're going to make a jellyfish implosion pendant.
So now we're going to make a jellyfish implosion. First thing you want to do is make your tentacles. We're going to make some really simple cane. So I have an 8mm glass rod. I'm going to use Twilight, and then I'm just going to make some really thin little stripes on here. I'm going to do 4 stripes. We're going to do some just really simple cane. If you want to make fancier cane, you just repeat the steps. So you would stripe a color, do clear, stripe a color, do clear, and so on and so forth until you were just happy with how much cane you wanted to do. And I'm going to do just a very short amount because I'm not going to make a lot of these. Farther down you go, more cane you'll have, the more of these you can make. Once you put your stripes on there, you can either punty or use your tweezers. Grab the end and you're going to pull. When you pull, you're going to turn. If you get cold or slow down, just bounce in and out of the fire. And you have this twisty cane now. You can straighten it. I'm going to use gravity to help me straighten it a little bit. I'm not too concerned about it because it is just jellyfish cane. I'm not going to sculpt with it so much. I'm going to tear off the end, make it a clean cut. And that's some really simple jellyfish tentacles on here. And again, if you want fancier tentacles, put some clear, another color, put some clear, another color. And I did not make stringers when I did my stripes because when I stretch it out, I'm already making it thin. And I don't want my color to thin out too much. You can use whatever colors you want for your jellyfish. I use mostly opaque colors on here, especially for the cap of the jellyfish. So I have Twilight tentacles, and this is wisteria. I'm going to put a little blob of wisteria on the end of it, and I'm going to make it pretty sizable because I like jellyfish with big caps on them. So I put a blob of purple on there. I'm going to get it hot and make it a little ball. And then once it looks something like this, I'm just going to let it sit out on my rod rest. I'm going to take a 12mm piece of clear glass, and I'm going to gather a ball. And with implosions, you do want to make sure your glass is really clean. So if you have a lot of bubbles on your clear rod, go ahead and strip it off. And you'll just take your tweezers and just pull off any scum you see on here. It's oil from your hands. It's little scratches the glass gets from being shipped to you. It's not always your fault or something. It just, sometimes you just get scratches, sometimes you get dirt on there. Dust is a big problem. So if you leave your glass sitting out where it can easily get dusty, just wipe it off before you use it, before you start working during the day. It'll help cut down on the little bubbles. And then I'm gathering it back, cold end down towards the table, nice and hot, something like this. And now I'm going to get ready to go for it. Now you do have one chance to do it. It either works or it doesn't. And give the first 2 you make in the morning, just be ready that those are probably not going to look the best. So do a couple warm-ups for yourself. Now I have this blob. I'm going to get the whole thing hot. If you're making these and you're having really hard time controlling it, just get half of it hot, and then that'll help you control yourself. I'm going to get the whole thing hot so I can just have a bigger pendant. But if you're really struggling with this, just start off by getting half of your gather molten. Make a few of those, give yourself a warm-up, and then you can go for it. So you need your gather, your clear glass, to be molten and hot. This is warm. It's near the fire at your cane. And whenever you're feeling for it, my elbows are resting on my table to help myself hold still. I'm going to shove my cane in my gather so far that it pushes up against the cool top, and it'll force my purple to kind of dip down over my cane. So now it looks good. I'm going to touch, forcing it through. Shove. Use all your muscles. flame cut. I'm going to cut the cane right where it comes out. I'm going to leave a little bit hanging on the outside of it. And now I'm going to hold my gather straight up and down, let this kind of drip down. This is just one way to make a jellyfish pendant. There's a lot of ways. You can make really fancier ones. The fancier ones is just more steps, more colors. And you can make a couple tiny canes, put a couple little jellyfish in there. But the principles are pretty much the same. You just repeat steps to make them more complicated and fancy. And if you really like making these, I'm sure you'll pick up little tips and tricks that just really work for you. Tiny, tiny little things. Usually it's not just one big thing that goes right or wrong. It's a bunch of tiny little things. I do have a little bit of some air bubbles in there. If you just get this hot enough, those air bubbles will become round and they're not a problem. You can see through the fire, and now I have this purple cap jellyfish, and I have these wispy tentacles on here. You can rip off the end, so I'm going to get my color hot. I'm going to pull, and this elongates my tentacles, and I twist my gather when I'm terminating it, and I just like the look of that. It just looks kind of like more like a jellyfish to me. Rinse and repeat, do that as many times as you need. You're just finalizing the final shape of your jellyfish at this point. With that pull that I did, you can kind of see it a little bit better. It makes the tentacles a little bit more wispy. I like them to end in a point. I just have a very particular idea in my head what I'm looking for when I'm making my jellyfish. I like them to end in a point. I like them to have really dense colors. So I use a lot of opaques when I'm doing little jellyfish pendants. But there's very little right and wrong with these. They're just supposed to be really fun. You should be able to make one in just a couple of minutes. They're a really great warm-up for the day. They're really great pendants. Now that I have my shape is nice, now I'm going to punty. And then I'm going to pull from my original rod, and I'm going to pull this into a hook. I'm going to heat where my jellyfish is not in the fire. If you heat up your jellyfish when you pull, you'll point the cap of your jellyfish. That's not necessarily right or wrong, but I just don't want mine to be pointed. I like a round jellyfish cap. You see when I pulled, my jellyfish didn't move at all because it wasn't hot enough to move. Pick the best side that you want for your front and bend the hook towards the back. This is just a very, very simple version. You can always do fancier stuff. You can decorate your hook. You can make your shape fancier. You can add more colors to your jellyfish. You can make fancier cane. But this is a great place to start, especially if you've never made these before. And they look really fancy, but pretty simple at the end of the day. And you'll pop it off. Flame polish the bottom. These do need to go into the kiln immediately, but they're really cute little jellyfish.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help to support us. You can also find more of Robin's work at robin-glass-studios.com.